At one time, he was like 375 pounds. He was fighting all the kickboxers. Solid muscle. And, with abs.
That's incredible, right?
Fight fans, welcome back.
I said, hold, 1 minute. How would they like me to fight him? Can I fight him under the markers of Queensberry rules?
As I said before, when we fight in the markers of Queensberry, I love to fight him. Tonight.
The guy said yes. I said, I'll fight him.
You heard the challenge from Mike Tyson. What do you have to say?
Regardless of whether you considered Fury Ngannou as good, bad, or a complete circus.
And if I'm wrong, me and you will fight straight after. Yeah! Yeah, man!
The baddest man on the planet, the battle for the baddest.
The baddest versus the baddest as a concept is something that has attracted a widespread combat audience for generations.
Sign the contract, big boy. Sign the contract.
So much so that even during the golden generation of heavyweights, two worlds would collide, and under very similar circumstances.
And his opponent across the ring, really needing no introduction the world over.
Mike Tyson, the original baddest man on the planet, coined during the 80s and 90s, nearly fought a beast. Welcome to a Motivedia presentation.
You may meet the right one or the left one.
Big boy, sign the contract.
Sign the contract, bad boy.
Sign the contract, big boy.
When he stepped into the ring, you had to watch, not just for the raw power, but for the unexplained behavior.
Do you feel as though you'll be able to intimidate him? You've been able to do that with a number of fighters who you've fought.
Well, I'm not interested in intimidating him with just presence alone. I'm prepared to put some punishment on him that intimidate him.
It was a feud dating back 2 decades ago, and whilst it almost reignited in 2020...
But somebody said, would you fight this guy for like 40 million or 30 million bucks?
It was instead Roy Jones Jr. that would end up facing Tyson in their nostalgic exhibition bout.
So it was Bob Sapp was the first one that was brought up.
Yeah, and so from him to somebody else, and another guy, then MMA, then this guy, and next thing you know, it came down to Roy.
I've allowed Mike Tyson to kind of say that he was going to fight me because he was. But when he says he has no idea what happened, he does know what happened, and his family knows what happened, and his manager knows what happened, and everybody knows what happened.
Back in August of 2003, chaos ensued in Las Vegas following Bob Sapp's K1 Road to Redemption victory against UFC superstar Kimo Leopoldo.
He's just raw, and it's not even really a good raw. He's just kind of like a storm, kind of like a chaotic storm.
A controversial fight in itself, but all quickly forgotten as boxing's baddest man appeared through the ropes.
You could see it in Tyson's face when he's staring him down. There's this crazy, he's following him everywhere he goes, like a predator, dude.
After an aura-destroying loss to Crow Cop 5 months prior, Sapp needed to prove he was still feared and still fearless.
As I did not get knocked out and I just went down very slowly, that was because once I saw that my vision was impaired, I decided to discontinue the fight.
And what better way of doing so than to confront combat sport's most dangerous ticking time bomb? Barely flinching as Sapp's glove touched his cheek, it's probably the most calm and classy Mike Tyson retaliation you'll see.
I'm fighting tonight, the Mark of the Queensberry. And that's real. With the Mark of the Queensberry, I'm fighting tonight.
Listen up here. Hey. They may call you Kid Dynamite. You mess with me, I'll put your fuse out.
As, with a wry smile and that famous quote, a verbal agreement set the boxing world alight.
Sign the contract, big boy. Sign the contract.
Okay, so for one, so what it means for, as far as Tyson, hey, I'm the one that brought you out of retirement, and I'll put you back in.
Very few people in their right mind, even today, would want to annoy Mike Tyson. But Bob Sapp is no regular human being.
Like he has a facial tattoo, you got something on your face.
Yes, that's right, chicken, that's right. So I'm here to tell everybody Mike Tyson's chicken.
Nicknamed the Beast for good reason, his size, power, and physical presence had taken combat sports by storm. He was 6'5" and weighed roughly 350 pounds.
You can really hurt people. You're a 320-pound man
It's just
with
well, serious experience.
To put that in perspective, Lesnar and Overeem weighed 263 and 266 respectively back in 2011. For Tyson Fury's first Deontay Wilder rematch, he came in at 277, and Nikolai Valuev, the 7-foot giant who fought David Haye back in 2009, was 325.
I've got a game plan against this big scary beast. I'm going to chop him down, and I'm going to bring them titles back to Britain, no doubt about it.
Paper darts against the mouth. Oh, he's got it going with a left hook. What a finish here. Haye gets to Valuev.
375 with abs.
Jesus. Yeah, Jesus.
375. Like, if you stand next to him, you just go, wait. What in the f*** are you? What are you? What is this new type of human being?
Yeah.
He's so big.
A former NFL lineman, professional wrestler, kickboxer, actor, Sapp was truly the man of the moment.
They no longer see me as a human being. They see me as the character of the beast.
And based out of Japan since 2002, he had quickly gained a large following as his pro wrestling and K1 abilities went hand in hand.
He was an enormous superstar in Japan.
Yeah.
Enormous. Like, it's hard for us to understand. Like, they were selling dolls of him and posters, and he was huge.
I'm the most famous in history of this sports entertainment, in history of this country.
Yes. We have more to do.
I hit him with my weakest punch, but it was okay for today. Arigatou gozaimasu.
The final match of K1 Grand Prix.
In recent years, K1, the world's most prestigious kickboxing promotion, had shifted their focus towards big, muscular men, seemingly prioritizing size over skill.
I'm on a mission to get it. Got a question, you with us, you whiz or you wizard. I'm in a pushing the limits. Better finish.
With very limited success, one of Tyson's former opponents, Francois Botha, had even made an appearance.
Let me say hello to President Nelson Mandela. I love you. Mike Tyson sends his best regards. Mandela, we will be there. And you're going to see it right there in South Africa when Tyson takes on Francois Botha, the white buffalo.
I mean, that is a mark of a shot fighter when you can't get off punches.
Down goes Botha. And it's over. It's over. Mike Tyson has looked.
So whilst kickboxing was never truly on his agenda, Mike's well-documented money troubles, an enormous following, and some experience in the WWE 5 years prior made him the perfect target for combat sports' latest drama show.
I would have loved to see a guy like Mike Tyson in his prime if there was a guy like Rico or some kickboxer who could potentially f him up on the way in.
He has no chance. Absolutely no chance. Then what would motivate people to want to watch this fight if you're saying he's got no chance of beating you? Because I'm fighting. Just to watch you, the attraction, exactly. To watch Mike Tyson.
Talks had been simmering for a year or so regarding a Tyson-Sapp collision, so it would all tee up nicely for Iron Mike to be present when K1 next arrived in Vegas.
About Mike Tyson, what is it that you want?
I want him. K1 rules, boxing rules, or MMA. I'm looking for you, Mike.
Do you think you've let yourself down for what you wanted to be in that ring?
Listen, in all actuality, if I don't go to the Boxing Hall of Fame for my credentials, they shouldn't be a Boxing Hall of Fame.
By this point, Tyson had a handful of losses to his name, and whilst he was on a redemption path of his own, the fire, much to the denial of his fans, was slowly burning out.
Well, Mike Tyson has always looked for a hero. Hard thing to find a hero when you have $1 million, because you don't know how to look. You look for other people with $2 million. And if you have 10, you look for someone with 20. And if you have 100, you look for someone with 200 million. Hard to find heroes. Now he's going to have to be his own hero.
Now to present the battle for heavyweight supremacy.
The golden era heavyweights were finally starting to bow out. Holyfield's days as an elite fighter were numbered, as he fell into a 3-fight losing streak.
He's like an old Rolls Royce in a used car lot full of Chevys and Fords.
Bo had been retired for 6 years after struggling with Gulata for the second time.
By a left of hand and big right too. Bo's in trouble here. Staggered backwards.
Even the Klitschko regime looked a little shaky, with Vladimir being knocked out by Sanders 3 months prior, and Vitali being stopped by Lewis in the 6th, the week following the Tyson-Sapp confrontation.
They've stopped the fight and they're going to declare Lewis the winner. They think it was caused by a punch. The crowd are in uproar.
So, anyway, the referee's lucky he stopped the fight anyway. Look at the state of his face.
But this bodyguard, you don't touch Mike Tyson and don't think he's going to touch you back.
A year prior, Tyson had suffered the same fate in the highest-grossing pay-per-view event of all time, a night which would ultimately reveal just how much of a step he'd lost.
You're taking on the most volatile event ever. You have Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson is capable of doing anything.
I want to put my hand through his head and his brain. I want him to see, I want his brain to come in contact with my fist.
A shell of his former self, reduced to a one-dimensional headhunter.
Lewis following the Holyfield blueprint, pushing Tyson back, leaning on Tyson.
The Brooklynite was comprehensively outboxed, worn down, and then knocked out.
Any longer this fight going, this man is dangerous. You better get him out of here. Big right hand from Lewis, and Tyson goes down. Lennox Lewis cements his legacy as one of the best heavyweight champions of this era.
I would say Mike Tyson matured at 19. He was nothing was standing in his way at that time. He ruled the planet at that time, and I came along and just ruled. I'm ruling now.
Real fighters really never retire. You know, we hang out to the last moment. At least I do. You get as much as you can out of your body.
Had Bob Sapp picked the perfect time? Whilst Tyson and his declining skill set looked like an easy pick, a one-round demolition of Clifford Etienne in his comeback was a harrowing reminder.
Mike Tyson, 225 3/4.
Tyson looking to end this on one punch, Steve. So is Etienne, but he doesn't have that one punch.
The way Mike Tyson fights, that suits Mike Tyson down to the ground. He's 38 years old now, so to stand there in front of Mike Tyson and have a tape with him, that's the best thing for Mike Tyson.
So what if he did? What if Bob Sapp had in fact signed the contract to make one of the most controversial fights of the century?
Yet, as we'll see over the next hour, Mike Tyson fights on, doggedly searching for the light of redemption, while haunted by the dark alleys of a past no child ever deserved.
Just like Fury versus Ngannou, critics would have loomed large.
It's a little bit of a good thing for a couple of reasons, and a lot of a bad thing for maybe even more. But you see this smile on my face. I'm watching this shit. I don't care what anyone says.
But the power and aggression of Tyson, paired with the size of Sapp, would have presented an even more bizarre, dangerous, and intriguing blend.
If you look at any of these boxers, what do I say? I think they should get down and dirty and say, you know what? Gloves are coming off. I'm older. I'm ready to go. I'm going to get down and dirty. I'm going to do it for real. Let's go. Boom. Bare knuckle it.
I'm looking forward to fighting. I don't know what else to tell you. Sure, you know, I know how to fight. I just got to go in there and fight.
And the clash of characters at face-offs and press conferences would have been a spectacle in itself.
I heard him say to Shelley Finkel, then his manager, well, we sold more tickets, didn't we? That's how he thinks.
On paper, a 37-year-old Tyson would have been 6 years older, 7 inches shorter, 100 pounds lighter, and giving up 7 inches of reach.
Can you show me why not being as tall as the other guy can be an advantage?
If you believe that the guy, everyone always say this guy has an advantage, a 7-inch reach advantage, 4-inch height advantage. No one ever says he had a 4-inch height disadvantage.
Safe.
Whilst none were quite as heavy as the Beast, a younger, fresher version of Mike used to enjoy systematically breaking down taller fighters.
Mike Tyson is the only heavyweight out there who says, I can lick any man in the house, and is willing to back it up.
Finding openings with his peekaboo style and vicious combination punching.
Who in this world has any chance against this man?
The likes of Scaff, Savarese, Tucker and Green were all roughly the same height as Sapp.
Big left hook. This one is over.
Let's talk for just a moment about Mike Tyson. He's a guy, and everyone has said this, including yourself, the only person who's going to beat Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson.
Come one, come all, because nobody can get close to me. They're not even close. I'm the best fighter in the world.
Behind him, this crowd rose as one and gave him a massive ovation. The Tyson phenomenon is still alive.
At the other end of the scale, in Pride 21, one of Bob's first MMA contests was against a man almost half his size. Kiyoshi Tamura was 5'11" and 190 pounds. So whilst Mike was substantially more well-built, the size difference here helps us imagine a Sapp-Tyson stare-down.
God bless. Thank you.
A big target. Will he try to make Tyson fight dirty?
On this occasion, despite catching the giant on the way in, Tamura was overwhelmed and blasted away in just 11 seconds.
The fight is over the hill.
And while Sapp would have been crazy to rush Mike in the same reckless fashion, realistically, it was probably his only hope.
Man, that punch, I don't think that punch never going nowhere. Mike is Mike. All Mike gotta do is land is one. All he gotta do is land one.
We've seen plenty of times, especially recently, that MMA stamina doesn't translate to boxing stamina.
There's no doubt that Conor's got an excellent chin. I have a feeling that a lot of this is down to fatigue.
And so the longer it went in a boxing ring, the more it would have played into Mike's hands.
I don't think I am. I like to think I am for my ego. But there's some guys you have to kill them to beat them.
Sapp would have 1 or 2 rounds at best to try and overwhelm the smaller man, and whilst his lack of technique might have made him a slightly trickier customer, he would be considerably more stationary than almost all of Mike's opponents, meaning openings would be plentiful.
There's no let up in him, he's just unloading everything, all body right now.
And as usual, with bad intentions.
That said, Mike would need to land first against a bull-rushing 350-pound Sapp. Every second spent in the clinch or absorbing any kind of onslaught would have taken its toll. While Sapp took all the physical advantages on paper, speed, power, defense, and the ability to take a punch would all swing Mike's way. And even at this stage of his career, it would be hard to see anything other than a devastating Mike Tyson knockout.
It's like a kick from a horse, and the first one he throws is a left hook that is going to be stopped. It's all over. We wondered if he was just talking a good fight. We feared that he'd fall apart, but he's rammed the words back down everybody's throat and measured up to everything he said he would do in this fight.
The coming years would see a drastic decline for both men, with the fear factor slowly wearing off.
Am I the hunter or the prey?
Sapp's roller coaster K1 and MMA careers continued for a couple of years before hitting a wall. From there, he fell into a spiral of embarrassing defeats and media humiliation.
There are people who think you are throwing these fights, that you're coming in to collect a paycheck, you're falling to the mat, you're pretending to be hurt, and if you look at the footage, I mean, it's hard to argue with them. What do you say to those people?
Mike would also slump to defeats against Danny Williams and then Kevin McBride in 2005.
I don't think I have it anymore because I got the ability to stay in shape, but I don't got the fighting guts, I don't think, anymore.
2 painful nights for Tyson fans, and 2 nights that reminded Sapp that he probably should have signed the contract after all.
He left Kevin Rooney, he left me, he left Steve Lott, and went over to a man named Don King who got his tentacles into him. And from that point on, he deteriorated noticeably.
Art, which is your artistic and entertainment talent. Open it up and look at the views. Look at the attention that's bringing about through. Look at what the beast is doing for the fans.
It wasn't the first of its kind, and certainly not the last. And the Saudi extravagance of Fury Ngannou shows us that the desire and the demand for this kind of fantasy matchup is still alive and well.
Mike, you fight me, I will rip your heart out and tear it to shreds.